whole seasons of crops because of the floods. And there was a clear choice on this issue. On the one hand, you have Joe Biden, who says, I see the crisis at hand. I understand the responsibility of leaders today to save and protect tomorrow. I understand the need to embrace science and invest in renewable energies and building back up America's infrastructure. In a way, we do that, and it will also be about creating millions of jobs. I see that there is no such thing as a false choice on this. You can care about the environment and build up the economy and create millions of jobs. That's what we have with Joe Biden. And on the other hand, we have Donald Trump, who, when asked about the wildfires in California, so he was asked, and the reporter said something like, you know, science is telling us, scientists and science is telling us that these extreme changes in the climate are contributing to these wildfires, possibly causing them. You know what the President of the United States responded? Science doesn't know. This is a grown man. Science doesn't know. And if it weren't so funny, we might understand that we deserve better. We deserve so much better. The people of our country deserve so much better. And we can have better. And the election that is going to allow us to make that choice will end in 10 days. And I purposely said end because it has started. And as an aside, I will tell you, since I serve on the Senate Judiciary Committee, that is another point that Joe Biden and I have been making when it comes to this illegitimate process of trying to fill the seat of Ruth Bader Ginsburg by putting somebody on the court while the American people, by the tens of millions, have been voting. We're not talking about an election year or election season. We're literally talking about we're in the midst of an election. And yes, this election will be over in 10 days. And so before us is a choice. And we have a choice. And it is a clear choice. It is a choice about, as Joe Biden says, fighting for the soul of our nation. It is a choice about protecting our democracy, as battered as it has been in these last 4 years, but understanding that America's democracy will always be as strong as the American people's willingness to fight for our democracy. And we are clearly prepared to fight, and to fight for our ideals, and to fight knowing that those ideals, such as that phrase on the United States Supreme Court, equal justice under law, is worth fighting for. We know we haven't yet reached it, but we know that we can, as long as we are active like we are today, in making sure that we all participate and that we are seen and we are heard. So a couple of points then. You know, I've been, this week, let's see, I was in Florida, in North Carolina. I've been all over the country, frankly. And I'll tell you, in Georgia, I was in Georgia yesterday. All over our country, there have been real attempts, and here in Ohio as well, to try and interfere with people's right to vote. And so I want to just talk for a moment about how I think about the voting process. There is a reason to vote for many of us, which has to do with honoring the ancestors. It has to do with honoring a great friend of Marcia Fudge and mine, John Lewis, and all of those who shed their blood on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, understanding that that fight was necessary to ensure that Black folks in America would be able to exercise their right to vote. It is honoring the ancestors. This year, we celebrated the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment and honored all those women, those suffragettes, who fought for our right to vote, while we also remembered that Black women couldn't vote until 1965. We honor the ancestors when we vote and their struggle, understanding that they taught us that this fight for civil rights and equality will never fully be won unless we, with each generation, fight to maintain and retain those rights. We vote because we know there is so much at stake. That is, yes, about the future of healthcare, especially when we're in the midst of a pandemic and Donald Trump, together with his boy Bill Barr, are in the United States Supreme Court trying to sue to get rid of Obamacare because he has this weird obsession with trying to get rid of everything that Barack Obama and Joe Biden created. Can I say we don't need presidents with weird obsessions? We don't need that. There's so much at stake. So we must honor the ancestors, and that's why we vote. We vote because there is so much at stake. And here's another reason I think that we vote. And it's been highlighted every year since certainly the beginning of our time as a nation, but most recently since 2013 when the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act with a case called Shelby v. Holder. Because you see, in 2013, after that case, almost 24 states enacted laws that were designed to suppress the vote of Black people, of people of color, of students, of indigenous brothers and sisters. So much so that in North Carolina, where I was this week, the Court of Appeal, when it reviewed what that state did, said that state passed a law that was written with, quote, surgical precision to prevent Black people from voting. We're seeing it around the country. We've seen that kind of attempt to obstruct the vote here in Ohio as well. And I say all this to say that in addition to honoring the ancestors, in addition to the issues that will be determined based on this election, the reason to vote also is this. It is one to ask the question, why are all these powerful people going through such an effort to make it difficult or confusing for us to vote? People like the president, who even had the gall, Marcia, to mess with the post office. The post office! Postal workers, postman and postwoman, like the best people in the world. Why are they going through this effort? And the answer is because they know our power. They know our power. They know when we vote, things change. They know when we vote, we win. And so let us not let anyone take our power. Let us not let anyone convince us that we are not in the game and we cannot make a difference in this election and every day. Let us know nobody gives us our power. We take our power. We were born with our power. We will use our power. And around election time, that means we will vote. And we will encourage everybody we know to vote. And we will remind them about what is at stake. And we will remind them about the ancestors. And we will remind them, especially in this moment where there's been so much that causes us to feel isolated and alone. We will remind our friends and our neighbors and our coworkers that they are not alone. We are all in this together. We're going to stand in those lines. We're going to do whatever it takes as a community to get this done. And so this is my final point then. This moment will pass. This moment will pass. And years from now, our children, our grandchildren, others, they will look in our eyes, each one of us, and they're going to ask us, where were you at that moment? And what I know about who we are right now, hanging out at Tri-C, I know that what we will tell them is so much more than just how we felt. We are going to tell them what we did. We are going to tell them that we organized, that we got folks to vote, that we reminded them of their power. We are going to tell them how we called folks and emailed and texted people, that we just did not let up, that we didn't care if we were bothering people. We knew they'd get over it, but we knew that they'd be happy with us for convincing them of what they already know, which is they have the power, because the power is with the people. That is what we are going to do, and that is what we will tell folks. How we were hanging out with Marsha Fudge and all these folks, getting folks to the polls, and we will tell them. And that's how we won, because we fought, because we love our country, and we believe in what we can do when we stand together and fight together. Thank you, Cleveland. Thank you.
So many of you girls, I hear you've been running from the beautiful queen that you can be becoming. You can look in my palm and see the storm coming. Read the book of my life and see I've overcome it. Just because the length of your hair ain't long, and they often criticize you for your skin tone. Wanna hold your head high cause you a pretty woman. Get your runway stride on and keep it going. Girl, live your life. Just wanna be myself. Don't be yourself. Follow me, follow me, follow me. Girl, be yourself. That's why I be myself. And I do love it. Let them get mad. They gon' hate anyway. Doesn't matter if you're going on with them. I'm talking about things that I know. It's okay, show yourself some love.